Welcome back, everyone. Today we'll be doing something a little different for our deep dive. We're taking a look at some excerpts from a young adult novel called If Only I Had Told Her by NOWLIN. And I'll be honest, YA fiction isn't really my usual territory, but I'm definitely curious.
I know what you mean. It's interesting though, right, to sort of explore a genre that you don't usually delve into. I mean, it's often associated with those classic coming of age stories, first love and all that. But I'm curious to see how this particular novel handles these themes, especially given the hints we've seen of something a little darker in the excerpts.
Yeah, you're right. Like at first glance, it starts off feeling like your typical love triangle. Finn is with Sylvie, but there's this undeniable connection with his childhood friend, Autumn.
And it feels like that connection runs much deeper than just friendship, you know? The excerpts definitely hint at like years of unspoken feelings, missed opportunities. There's almost like a sense of what if hanging over their relationship.
Right. It's almost like Finn is constantly living with this undercurrent of regret,
Yeah.
wondering what might have happened if he had, like, been brave enough to actually say something,
Sure.
to express his feelings for Autumn years ago.
And that regret, it seems to be what's fueling the tension in his current relationship with Sylvie. I mean, she's not oblivious to these lingering feelings he has for Autumn, and the excerpts really suggest that this creates a feeling of unease and mistrust between them.
It's definitely not just lighthearted love triangle.
Yeah.
It feels like the author is setting the stage for something much more complex, maybe even tragic.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
There's this underlying sense of foreboding, almost like something is about to change dramatically. And then, of course, there's the accident.
We don't know the specifics from these excerpts, but the impact is clearly devastating. Like the author uses words like shattered, broken. It really paints a picture of this emotional wreckage.
And it's interesting how the author chooses to withhold those details, the details of the accident at this point. It creates this sense of suspense. It makes you wonder not just what happened, but who was affected and how deeply.
It's like we're experiencing that shock and confusion right alongside the
Yeah.
characters. And then there's this shift in perspective. Initially, we're seeing everything through Finn's eyes, but then the narrative shifts to Autumn's point of view.
That shift is crucial, I think, because it suggests that Autumn might hold a piece of the puzzle that we're missing. Makes you wonder, what does she know that Finn doesn't? How will her perspective change our understanding of everything that happened, the events leading up to the accident?
It's like we're getting a whole new set of lenses to view the story through.
Yeah.
And through Autumn's eyes, we start to uncover some really intriguing details. For instance, we learn that she was completely unaware of Finn's feelings for her for all those years.
Which raises a really interesting question. How do we navigate those unspoken feelings, those missed connections that can just haunt us for years? It makes you wonder how many times we've all missed an opportunity for something deeper, something more, just because we were too afraid to speak up, to say what we really feel.
And then there's the revelation about Sylvie's past. The excerpts hint at this troubled relationship with a teacher, suggesting that she might be carrying some deep-seated insecurities, possibly even trauma.
It makes you wonder how much those past experiences are influencing her present actions. Her anxieties within the relationship and potentially even her role in the events leading up to the accident.
It's like everyone is carrying this hidden weight,
Yep.
and their past is shaping their present in ways that they may not even fully realize.
And speaking of hidden weights, Autumn's journey takes a very unexpected turn. We find out that she's pregnant with Finn's child.
Whoa, hold on. It's a huge twist. It completely changes the dynamics of the entire story. Suddenly, the stakes are even higher.
Exactly. It's like the question of what if takes on a whole new dimension. Not only is Autumn dealing with the aftermath of this accident, the revelation of Finn's feelings, but she's also facing the prospect of raising a child alone.
And knowing this pregnancy is tied to Finn's unspoken feelings, that adds another layer of complexity. It's almost like their story is continuing, even in his absence.
Which begs the question, how will she navigate motherhood without him? Will she find a way to honor his memory while also creating her own path forward? I mean, these excerpts, they leave us with so many questions. It's hard not to be completely hooked.
You're telling me I'm already feeling invested in these characters and their tangled relationships. It's definitely more than just a simple love triangle. There are layers of history, secrets, unspoken emotions that are just waiting to be uncovered.
And that's the beauty of a well-crafted story, isn't it? It draws you in with this familiar premise, but then it slowly peels back the layers, revealing these complexities and nuances that keep you guessing until the very end.
And speaking of guessing, I have a feeling these excerpts are just the tip of the iceberg.
Right. I mean, we've got a love triangle, a tragic accident, a surprise pregnancy, a shift in perspective. Who knows what else the author has in store for us? This is definitely a deep dive that demands we keep going.
I couldn't agree more. I'm already itching to find out what happens next.
Picking back up on these excerpts, you know what really strikes me? It's how the author weaves these themes of love and loss together. Finn's feelings for Autumn, this love that he's carried for years, it adds this layer of poignancy to the tragedy, you know?
Yeah, it's like those feelings were always there, this unspoken undercurrent in his life,
Yeah.
influencing his choices, shaping his relationships. And we know from the excerpts that Finn believed he kind of ruined his chances with Autumn years ago at that New Year's Eve party.
Right. He tried to make a romantic gesture, but it totally backfired, left him feeling rejected, ashamed even. And it seems like that event, it really had a lasting impact on him. It colored how he interacted with her for years to come.
It really makes you think about those pivotal moments in our own lives,
Mm.
the ones that stay with us, for better or for worse. And for Finn, it seems like this experience really fueled a lot of that guilt and regret.
Absolutely. The excerpts reveal that he wished he had acted differently, given her space, respected her boundaries, and that awareness of his past mistakes, it really adds depth to his character, I think. It shows his capacity for introspection and growth.
But Finn isn't the only one wrestling with regret. We see hints of it in Sylvie as well. The excerpts mention her making out with another girl on that Ferris wheel, and that action, it caused this rift between her and Finn.
It seems like that incident was driven by Sylvie's need for validation, perhaps stemming from that past trauma involving the teacher. And this detail, it reveals this vulnerability beneath her seemingly confident exterior. It suggests that her actions might be driven by this deep need to feel worthy of love and attention.
It's a reminder that we often, hurt the people closest to us when we're battling our own inner demons. And for Sylvie, it seems like that past trauma has really left some deep scars.
The fact that she's seeing a therapist to address these issues, it really highlights the importance of seeking help, to process those difficult experiences. It also suggests that healing is a journey, and it's often a long and complicated one.
And it's not just emotional healing that takes time. We see Autumn dealing with the very physical reality of pregnancy. The excerpts describe her changing body, her growing belly, all the hormonal shifts that come with this huge life change.
It's a reminder that pregnancy, even when it's a joyous occasion, can also be a time of massive physical and emotional upheaval. It's a journey of profound transformation, both internal and external.
And for Autumn, this journey is made even more challenging because she's doing it alone.
Hmm.
Facing pregnancy and impending parenthood without a partner adds another layer of complexity to her situation.
You really feel the weight of responsibility that she's carrying, knowing that she's the sole provider and caregiver for this child.
But despite those challenges, she displays this remarkable strength and resilience. She seeks support from her mother and Angelina, building this network of love and care around herself and her unborn child.
And she forms this unexpected bond with Angie, another young mother who offers this relatable and grounded perspective on the realities of parenthood.
I love how these female friendships add so much warmth and authenticity to the story. They really highlight the importance of women supporting women, especially during those times of transition and uncertainty.
Absolutely. These relationships provide a sense of community and shared understanding. They remind Autumn that she's not alone in this journey.
And then there's that visit from Jack. We learn that he went to see Autumn in the hospital, offering comfort and support after Sylvie's suicide attempt.
It's a small gesture, but it speaks volumes about his character. It reveals this deep sense of empathy and loyalty. It also suggests that he's coming to terms with his own grief over Finn's death, and he's choosing to honor his friend's memory by supporting those that Finn cared about.
Jack's presence in the story feels so grounding. He's like this steady anchor amidst all the emotional turmoil.
Speaking of emotional turmoil, one of the most powerful moments in these excerpts is when when Autumn breaks down during that therapy session.
Right, when she confesses that she doesn't know how to love her baby without Finn, it's such a raw and honest expression of grief, and it really highlights the complex interplay between love, loss, and the anticipation of this new life.
It's a reminder that healing isn't a linear process. There will be moments of intense pain and vulnerability even as we try to move forward.
And in Autumn's case, the grief is further complicated by the uncertainty surrounding her daughter's health.
Right. The excerpts mention that during that ultrasound, the technician noticed something unusual about the baby's heart. Talk about a heart-stopping moment. You can feel the anxiety and fear radiating from the page.
It's a reminder of the fragility of life, the possibility of loss even before life has fully begun.
But even in the face of this uncertainty, Autumn finds strength in the love and support of those around her.
The mothers are there, offering that unwavering care and reassurance.
And John, Finn's father, he stepped up in a big way, promising financial assistance and access to the best medical care available.
It's a powerful demonstration of how love can transcend past hurts and become a lifeline in times of need.
And amidst all this emotional weight, there's this glimmer of hope, the revelation of the baby's gender.
Autumn learns that she's having a girl, a daughter, who will carry a piece of Finn's legacy into the world.
It's a bittersweet moment full of both joy and sorrow, anticipation and loss, but it also feels like this turning point for Autumn.
You're right. It's like knowing that her daughter is on the way. It gives her this renewed sense of purpose, a reason to keep going, even when the pain feels overwhelming.
And you see her starting to prepare for her daughter's arrival, buying baby clothes, setting up the nursery. Her actions reflect this growing acceptance of this new reality, a willingness to embrace the challenges and joys of motherhood.
It's like she's finding her way through the darkness, guided by the love for her child and the memory of Finn.
And as she navigates this uncharted territory, she finds comfort and strength in these unexpected places, the wisdom of other mothers, shared laughter with friends, quiet moments of reflection.
Her journey really highlights the resilience of the human spirit, the capacity to find meaning and purpose even after experiencing such profound heartbreak.
The author also seems to be exploring the theme of memory in this really profound way. We see how the characters cling to their memories of Finn, both the joyous and the painful, as a way of keeping his presence alive in their lives.
Like that scene where Autumn is reading Finn's favorite book, and it's as though he's right there with her,
Yeah.
sharing the experience.
It speaks to the enduring power of love and the ways in which those we've lost, they continue to shape our thoughts, our emotions, and our choices.
It's beautiful and heartbreaking at the same time.
And as the story unfolds, we see the characters gradually finding ways to integrate their grief into their lives, honoring Finn's memory while also allowing themselves to move forward.
It's a delicate balance, but one that speaks to the possibility of healing and growth,
Yeah.
even after experiencing such a devastating loss.
And it reminds us that even in the midst of sorrow, there's still beauty to be found, laughter to be shared, and love to be given.
As we kind of wrap up our deep dive into If Only I Had Told Her, I'm struck by how the tone of the story shifts in these final excerpts. Like, it moves away from that initial wave of tragedy and starts to explore these themes of resilience and cautious optimism.
It's as though the characters, and maybe even us as readers, have moved through that initial shock of grief and are starting to piece together a new reality. And we see this most clearly with Autumn, right? I mean, she's 7 months pregnant now, preparing for her daughter's arrival.
Yeah, and what's so fascinating is how she's creating a life that both honors Finn's memory, but also allows her to move forward. It does feel like she's trying to replace him or forget him, but rather finding a way to integrate his absence into this new chapter as a mother.
There's that scene where she's buying baby furniture, and she's so torn between like practical considerations and the emotional weight of each purchase. It's as if she's trying to balance the needs of her unborn child with Finn's lingering presence in her life.
It's a really delicate balance to strike, and something that so many people who've experienced loss can probably relate to. How do we move forward without feeling like we're betraying the memory of those we've loved and lost?
That's a question that Autumn really wrestles with throughout the novel, and ultimately she answers it through her actions. She chooses to surround herself with the people who who loved Finn, creating this network of support as she navigates single parenthood.
Her relationship with the mothers, her own mother and Angelina, is a beautiful example of that. They offer this unwavering love and practical help.
And then there's Angie, the young mother Autumn met in therapy, who offers this more peer-level perspective on the ups and downs of raising a child.
Right. It's like Autumn is consciously building a village to help raise her daughter, recognizing that she can't do it alone.
Yeah. Speaking of support systems, I'm curious about what role John, Finn's father, will play. The excerpts mention that he contributed financially to help Autumn with the baby, but there's also this sense of unresolved tension between them.
Yeah, it's clear he regrets his past absence in Finn's life and is trying to make amends by supporting his grandchild. But it's definitely complicated by all the guilt, the resentment, the unspoken history.
I'm really curious to see how that relationship evolves, especially given the news about the baby's possible heart condition.
Right, that detail adds this whole other layer of urgency and uncertainty to the narrative. It's a reminder that even as we strive to create this stable and loving environment, there are forces beyond our control that can disrupt our plans.
It's like the author is subtly echoing that theme of fate and the unpredictable nature of life that led to Finn's accident in the first place. But even with this new challenge hanging over her, we see Autumn embracing her role as a mother with such courage and determination.
She's going to doctor's appointments, buying baby clothes, preparing her home. Her actions really speak to this growing sense of hope, a belief that even amidst loss, life finds a way to bloom again.
And it's not just about fulfilling some biological imperative. You sense Autumn's deep desire to honor Finn's memory by raising their daughter with love and care, instilling in her the values and qualities that made Finn so special.
It's like she's determined to create this legacy of love, a testament to the enduring power of human connection, even in the face of death.
It's a powerful and moving sentiment, and one that aligns with the overarching themes of hope and resilience that run through the entire novel.
I'm also struck by the subtle transformation in Jack's character. He's obviously still grieving Finn, but he's finding ways to channel his grief into acts of kindness and support. He steps up to be there for Autumn and for others who are hurting.
It's almost as if he's embodying the qualities that made Finn such a good friend, becoming this living embodiment of the positive impact their friendship had.
As we come to the end of this deep dive, I feel such a sense of gratitude for the opportunity to have explored this novel. It's challenged us emotionally, made us think about life's big questions, and left us with a lot to ponder about love, loss, and the resilience of the human spirit.
If Only I Had Told Her is a story that will stay with you long after you finish reading it. It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there's always hope to be found, beauty to be appreciated, and love to be shared.
And on that note, we'll wrap up our deep dive. Thank you for joining us, and until next time, keep diving deep, keep exploring, and keep seeking out those stories that illuminate the complexities of the human experience.